So check out this joker right here. This is the steel version of the template that we made the other day, obviously. Finally got it back from my buddy. He cut them out for me, cut me two of each, one on the inside, one on the outside. So you'll see that it is painted very ugly yellow. The metal that they used to cut it out for me was kind of dirty and rust pitted and stuff like that. I mean, not terrible, but bad enough. I had to go over and grind the face down on all of it and kind of clean it up some on both sides. And I just went ahead and threw some spray paint that I had, just whatever that was kind of laying around, just some old school bus yellow Rust-Oleum that I had. Put that on there after I kind of knocked the top of it off to kind of seal the metal up some to protect it. Then you'll see that obviously I went around and I ground off down the bare metal all the areas where I was going to have to come back and weld. So now, that leads us to where we are right now. So we got to fit this guy up on here and kind of lock him up in place and get them all tacked up and get ready to weld this. So as far as doing this goes, I got me some quick grips over here. Alright, that one's close. That one's pretty close. So I don't have to worry so much about where my center line is because they absolutely nailed this to my template. I mean, it is like perfect. So now we're going to just set them up here eventually. Put a quick grip on it so we kind of hold it in place. And I get me a hammer. We should be able to kind of tap it to get it to line up like we want. So now, make sure we got this guy right here. That's pretty close. Let me get me a hammer right quick. I'll tap that. Trusty old broken handlebar peen. I've had this thing for years and years and years. All right, so now I'm gonna tap this down just a shade. All right, so that's good there. And over here we got to come up. Alright, so there we're square. There we're square. So now, there was one area right here underneath that they couldn't cut with their machine just because of the way the radius was and everything. These straights, they're pretty easy for them to cut and knock out. But so he just kind of left this open for me to come back and cut. So what I may go ahead and do right now is mark with a black pen on the back side of this. Then we'll jump over here on the sawhorses and lop this off with the plasma cutter right quick. So let's get a pen. We'll mark this up right quick. What fits nice though, don't it? It's gonna look good. And it should be strong. So, you know, looking good and being strong. Two things I like. All right. Get my trusty black pen here. Alright, so I hope you can see that good right there, that line. So now we'll jump over here to the plasma to the sawhorses and take a plasma cutter and lop that off. Then we'll be ready to come back and tack this on. Now I have been toying with the idea of cutting out right here where these indentions are on the factory frame, but I think I'm just going to leave it alone. They're not really hurting anything. I'm going to have this welded good on the outside of it anyway, so it ain't going to hurt a thing. Now I do have to come over here, right here, where this line comes down. That signifies where the inside of my my notch is, and here as well. So I'm going to have to come over and kind of grind those off right quick, clean that metal off, that way it'll cut good with the plasma cutter. So we'll cut this out, clean this off, then be ready to fit it up here and tack this guy in place. So go find some sawhorses. Ooh, they're right over here. Okay, and we're back. So now basically, we just got to do everything we just did again. Set this guy up here. clamp them in place. Place on the front side. Now, like I said, they made this to the exact size of my template. So all I gotta do is set it up here and line up these ends right here, and it is dead on balls. So probably help if I hit the piece of metal I was trying to hit. Alright, pretty close right there.
How when you do something like that, it's always like you're going and then it makes a pop, but it's almost like a beat.
Huh?
So I didn't even know the camera was going.
Who did you think I was talking to? Now I gotta come this way to touch still. I did a lot better the first time I lined it up. I like completely nailed it first shot. Yet again, this does not have to be absolutely perfect, but it's kind of an aim small, miss small type of deal here. I want it to be as close as I can possibly get it. Alright, good there. And of course that pushed this side just a little bit. Good there. Yay! Good here. Good here. That's a good area well to it now. I will admit I had envisioned this being a little bit better. I probably should have made this just a touch taller, but I know you probably can't see this in the video, but the frame has a nice, like a 3/4 round over right there. And I only brought my metal up to about right here, so it's probably 1/4 of an inch from the flat surface of the frame. But if I brought it up further, it would have had a really big gap down there, and I didn't really want to just fill that up with weld. So what I'm going to do is, it's going to sit there, so I'm going to be able to lay a good weld here. We'll put our piece of metal that comes in from the top, we'll put a good weld here, and then if we need to, we can come back and tie it together with one pass to lock all 3 pieces of metal together. Kind of the same with the bottom, and same here, same up here. So, be able to lay, got a nice V-gouge right here at the top. So be able to lay in a good weld right there. And then right here, when we made our new pieces, that we'll have a nice V-gouge right there that we can burn all the way in. So now, with all that being said, let's get a welder. Let's get this guy tacked in place, get these clamps off up, see if we like it. Weird fit. Touches my ear. I got a new welding helmet for everybody that can tell. All right, you can come over here so you can see. I gotta keep my son out of the camera view here. I'm about to start teaching him how to weld. He's showing some interest here. All right, can you see where I'm at? One down. Fits really nice and snug to the frame rails too. I'm super happy with how these turned out. Now, just make sure it's all sitting nice and tight, which it really is. So, not really doing anything with that, but I feel good. I feel like it's doing something. And yes, we're going to cover up the fuel tank here in just a minute before we do all the final welding in, but just as far as tacking it in goes, it'll be fine. Well, that was holding nicely, huh? Well, it's all on there good. Nice and solid. Nice and flat. Looks like it all fits real nice. Let me give you a quick look-see. All right, so we got our school bus yellow template. Boy, that looks nice on there. Said no one ever. You can see how she fits nice. We got a nice V-gouge right here so we can bury a weld down in there. Fits nice and flat. Nice and flat to the frame. You see that little bit of round over there, so we it's a good area to weld there. Nice and flat everywhere. So we're gonna cut that out before we weld it, so I'm not too worried about it just yet. The back side, same deal. Everything fits nice and flat, so just give it one more quick once over, then we'll be ready to cover this fuel tank and burn this guy in. All right, well, I'm feeling pretty good about where this guy's sitting, so we're gonna send her home. So we got the tops welded now. We're welded down the front and the back. So next up, I gotta hit this weld here, this weld here. I would be a complete liar if I told you that I really wanted to weld this in short sleeves and shorts. I wish I would have brought home my welding jacket from work, but I didn't do that. And I've been waiting to weld this together for quite a while, so I'm gonna give it a go. If I can make it through it, I will. You know, if not, then it may have to wait till tomorrow, but I really ain't trying to wait till tomorrow. Patience is not really a virtue that I possess. So we're gonna lay under here and see if we can weld this bad boy up. Shoo! That really didn't go bad at all, actually. Yeah, just in case I would ever catch on fire while doing this, here, watch me. Fire extinguisher's right over there. See that? Just good information to have. Holy shit, my neck is getting tired. Ah! There's a long ass well. Why did I make that so big? Ah! Sucks. Alright, that was a little tougher than the last one, but it's in there like swimwear. Alright, so let me let that quit smoking and then we'll give you a quick once over what we got going on. Alright, well, it's cooled down enough for me to get close to it, so there you see everything's all still fitted up really nice. It all welded up really good, actually. I mean, which, you know, it's thick metal. Thick metal's pretty easy to weld. This one was the toughest one. That's the one I'm pretty proud of right there. That is some long overhead welding. And it sucked about as much as you would think that it would. So, next up, we gotta start working on this inner piece that goes in there, or I guess over there. Either way, inside piece. So I've got it over here. I did already put it up on the frame like I did the last one. I had to trace out that spot because I had to trim it up just like I did on the other one. So you see it's shaped a little bit differently. Right there we had to cut it so it would kind of dead end into that cross member where the fuel tank mounts. So we will come back and we'll get that thing set up on there and get it tacked in place and get our final look at it before we burn it in. Well, I mean, now one thing I did not acknowledge was that no, I did not paint the whole face side on this other side before I put that piece on. I probably should have, just a little bit of extra corrosion protection, even though it's completely sealed up and no oxygen's going to be getting up in there. even if it does rust, it ain't gonna be in any of our lifetimes because the frame rail is 3/16 of an inch thick. This is 1/4 of an inch thick. This is 1/4 of an inch thick. We'll all be dead and gone before that rusts in half. So, and the odds are good somebody else will have probably wrecked and destroyed the truck by that point in time. Anyway, plus, if I paint it, then I run the risk of it contaminating my weld. I'm just gonna have to come back and grind this area off anyway, which is gonna be where the rust would start if it was going to. I don't know, yeah, I guess I can dust a little bit of etch on there. Like I said, I should have done it on the other side, but that's all welded up now. I got so excited that I could finally put this stuff on that, you know, I kind of let it get away from me. I should have done it and I didn't, so we'll dust a little etch on here. Good thing I only need a little. Little's all I got. You don't have to have much of this stuff, just like every other time we've used it throughout this build. You just need a light dusting of it to get for that acid to bite into it. All right, so I've got to kind of clean off this spot down here where I'm going to weld it, and I got to clean off a little spot right here. So I'm going to do that while this etch sets up, and then we'll come back and we'll put it on there and line it up and weld the damn thing. That's how we do that where I'm from. Now, do this all over again for the first time. Tiny tap, tap, tap-a-roo. It's feeling pretty nice. It's stand to go down a touch, but I think I'm okay with it. Bring this up a shade. Oh yeah. All right. You get a clamp put down here. Boy, that school bus yellow sure does look nice. Said no one ever. Oh man, yeah. That fits very, very nice. I'm super happy with that. Super happy. It's actually sitting out just a little bit at the top, so I'm gonna put another clamp on the top up here. I don't know if this one's big enough. Ah! I got clamps. I got lots of clamps. I got big clamps, I got small clamps, I got rusty clamps, I even have painted clamps. Look at that. That clamp pulled that right on in there. So I'm gonna move it down here, that way I can put my tack right here first. So we'll go ahead and pull our welder over here. All this down here is sitting really nice. Super happy with that. That's good. Pretty happy with that. This fits nice and flush to the bottom of the frame rail right there, so that'll weld up real good. And then this little spot right under here, I'll have to make my piece of steel that's going to go right here to kind of close all that up. Oh yeah, it's gonna fit nice though. I'm gonna have to do a little grinding right here. I didn't do as good of a job of cutting this side as I did the other side. Tap right there. Yes, my OCD is this bad. I need this to be perfectly flush. Even though it does not matter for anything at all. There now, I can sleep. All right, so just like on the other side, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll start by running the top right here. Then I'll run this part. Then we'll run around here, down through there. Then we'll come under here and get the bottom. I'm gonna throw a little tack right here right quick. And then I'll be ready to get down. All right, well, everything looks good. I'm gonna give it all my blessing and we're gonna burn this bad boy in. I'm gonna get a tan on my arms a little bit more. Well, apparently for some reason my phone decided to just shut the video off in the middle of that, but you can kind of see what we're working with here. Got everything all burned in there real good. It's all welded under the bottom, everything's good. So next step up is we're gonna put in these little end pieces right here, and then we're gonna cut out the middle right there and wrap this C-notch up. All right, so next up, we're gonna put our end plates on right here. So I set this guy up here. You can see that we've got our inside piece that we put on. Then we've got about half exposed of the, shoot, I don't know what you even call that. The 6x3, the piece about 6x3, half of that exposed. Now that's the same on both sides right here. That way when I weld it, I can weld all three pieces together. Got a nice got a nice kind of V groove right here we can weld in. Now on this other side, it's because of the way the frame kind of rolls over right here, I've got a little bit of an air gap underneath. This fits great right here, but there's a little bit of an air gap underneath. So I don't know if you can see it or not, I got a little black line made right here. So we're basically just gonna take a plasma cutter. This is right about the edge of where the frame is flattened out on top. So we're gonna cut just a little bit off the edge all the way to right here. And then I've got a line marked right here at the top. That's kind of halfway down the top edge of that 6x3. That way we can burn all these pieces together all at one time. So I went ahead and got it marked. This one's labeled left rear. So I've got it marked on all four pieces. So we're gonna make this cut right across here. Then we'll draw us a straight line. We'll make this cut right here. Then we'll be ready to come back and weld these guys on and cap this guy up so that we can cut out our inside piece. So let's jump over here, let's make a couple marks and do a little plasma cutting. All right, so got our piece all trimmed up. Knocked the paint off that back side along the edge there so it doesn't contaminate my weld. So like I said, we already bent it before. Look at that. I mean, just bravo, perfect fit. Everything looks great, should weld up really good. So I'm gonna throw my gloves on, we'll tack it in place, give her one last look, and then burn this joker in. I'll cut that with a grinder right there. All right, so my heat was a little high. You saw me turn it down just a little bit right here. My heat was a little bit high right there, so it kept kind of wanting to melt, and I chased the slag down a little bit. I should have just stopped, turned it down a little bit before I did it, but I didn't, whatever. I tried to just go ahead and burn it anyway. It's all melted together and it'd probably be strong, but I'm gonna probably take a grinder and I'll just come back and I'll cut me a little small V gouge right through there. I'll come back and fill it in with weld. Well, really just because I just want to, you know, it'll look a little nicer. Even though it probably won't be any stronger, but I'm gonna do it anyway just because. So I got it set up nice now, so now for this weld, I should be able to turn it back up and see what we get here, because you see it burning really nice everywhere else. So I'll start this one, see how it comes out, and if I go and kick the heat back up, I will. Pretty damn happy with that. really nice. Next up, do the front. Whew. All right, well, that one welded up really, really good. I'm super happy with that. I mean, really, this part right here, I don't really have to go back over it. I don't know, I might not. I don't know, we'll see how I feel about it when I get done with this weld. So, same thing up here. We're going, sticker up here, that's not right. Sticker up here, get it in place, put a tack on it, take a look at it, if everything looks good, gonna burn it in. Now this one is a little bit more difficult because this frame rail in the front has a little bit of angle to it, so I have to kind of hold it right where I want to get the initial tack put on it. Before I put this plate on, it was pretty easy to get right where I wanted. It's not too bad. Not too bad at all. All right, tack her over here. That one's not quite as pretty, but. All right, so this weld's not quite as pretty as the one over there, but it's because I was running with my left hand and I didn't really give myself a good rest. I mean, it's strong, it's got really good penetration, but I mean, you always want it to be pretty, you know, just because. So, nonetheless, that has got them welded on at this point, so our next move from here is going to be to cut out the center of this guy and get ready to make the inside piece, which we're hoping to try to cut that guy in one piece and break it all over. Break it 2 times, stick it right up in there. That all we got to do is weld the inside and the outside, and C-notch, for lack of a better term, will be donezo. So we will let this guy cool off and then we will come back. All right, so here we are. Got this bad boy all welded up and in place. As you can see, came out nice. Now this weld right here is kind of ugly because the welder was a little bit too hot, so it kept wanting to kind of melt and just kind of drip down. You see I got kind of a little cut mark right there. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take a grinder and I'm gonna come right up the center of that. I'm gonna kind of gouge that out a little bit. I'm gonna come back and weld over it. But as you can see, everything else turned out really, really good. Now this right here, I'm not worried about that little edge that's right there or right here, because as you remember, we got really good weld on this piece. Then what I did, I got a really good weld on this piece, but then I came back and I tied them together with this one in the center. I probably just take a grinder, maybe knock the sharpness off this edge just a little bit, but y'all know me, I ain't much about grinding, so we ain't gonna have to do a whole lot to it. You see the rest of it all came out really nice. Same over here. 3 welds. Now you saw this weld's not quite as nice as the other one. I did this one left-handed and I didn't have anywhere to give me a rest for my arm, so it kind of came out. I would have liked for it to be a little prettier, but whatever, anybody ever gonna see it. But everything else came out really nice though. That'll be really good and strong. So now we're at the point of we're ready to go ahead and cut out the inside of our notch. So essentially, if you remember, we went ahead and cut the top out, and we've got the bottom half of that piece of tubing that we put in there. So we're just gonna kind of come in from an angle with a plasma cutter, cut that dude straight down there, straight down through there. We'll make us a mark on the bottom right here from the corner of each bracket that we put on. We're gonna hack that dude out of there. So this ought to be fun. Hang out and watch. Okay, so spin that around here, we can see a little bit. So I got a little bit of cleanup I've got to do right here. I got to cut this back a little bit. I made my line on the bottom where I wanted to cut, but like a big dummy, I didn't think about it. When cutting with a plasma cutter, I'd be blowing the sparks straight up in the air right at my television and my son and everything else in the shop, and that's just kind of Well, stupid. It's kind of stupid, so I just didn't want to do that. So I'm gonna come back now with a cutoff wheel and see if I can kind of trim this up. Grinder will trim this cut up a little bit. There's a little bit of an indentation right here where that old shock mount used to be, where it would kind of countersink into the frame. So my plasma cutter wouldn't quite blow back in there far enough. That's why you saw me get the cutoff wheel there and get after it, so I could cut just that little bit that it couldn't get to. And on this back side right here, same spot on the bottom. I got a little spot I need to clean up, but for the most part, it looks pretty good. I got a little spot right here in the top, right here that I need to clean up, but really just a little bit of trimming up, and then we'll be ready to start making our piece that's gonna go up in there. So I'm gonna get going and do a little trimming here, and we'll come back once I get it all cleaned up and show you what we got going on. Okay, dokie. So, got this joker all cleaned up inside. I don't know, I might remember to show it to you one of these days. It looks like freshly ground metal and it's clean. So essentially, I got it. So the plan is we're gonna take and we're gonna cut one piece of plate and we're gonna break it here, and we're gonna break it here so that we can stick it up in there and just have one C. That way all I gotta do is we'll make it where it's just narrow enough so we've got a nice V gouge all the way around on both sides, so that we can just weld it all the way around the outside, across the bottoms, and it'll be completely filled in. Should look really nice, really clean too, so, and be super duper strong because it's all one piece. So, in order to do that, we first have to start with our measurements. So, from this bottom edge, looks like 6 1/4, yeah. 6 1/4 to our first bend. Grab something and write that down. Whiteboard. Just find a small area where you can write it down. Hang on, my helper. Go write that down for me. 6 1/4. Just write back 6 1/4, or B 6 1/4. So then we're going to measure from apex to apex, here to here, and we're going to go with, looks like 5 15/16. Write that one down. That should have been 6. Probably my screw up. Then 6 1/2. All right, so now let's go draw this out on some cardboard so you can kind of, oh, one more. Width is going to be 3 1/8. Yeah, that should work. No, check that. 3 1/4. 3 1/4 is the width. All right, so like I said, we're gonna jump up here now, transfer this over to some cardboard, and we'll put some nice little fake bends in the cardboard and see if it fits in here correctly. All right, so let's see if we did any good here. Get this in here like so. Bang! Oh yeah, that's nice right there. Look at that. That is going to be sweet. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a pencil. I'm going to mark on the bottom of the frame rail where the ends of it stick out down here. That way we kind of get an idea for, you know, that way I don't have, you know, an inch of extra material over here. I'm not really too worried. Well, this is actually pretty well, it's pretty damn close. I might cut off 1/4 of an inch off the bottom of this just so I get a little V gouge at the bottom down there. This one's actually pretty close too because the way that frame rounds. Hey, go grab my pencil. So what I'm doing is I'm going to hold this, like I said, halfway covering each piece of metal. That way we got a nice little overlap, and we'll get our little pencil edge here. That way we know exactly how to cut it for the shape. And then on this other side, like I said, I might take, you know, something like that, whatever that is. It's not quite a 1/4 of an inch, I don't think, but I'll probably take that off of there. So now we just got to go transfer this over onto steel, and we'll get our measurements right. We'll put it over on the machine and we'll break it down. So let's go cut out some steel.
Well, somehow, like a big dummy, I managed to lose the rest of the footage of me welding in the underside of the notch right there. But as you can see, it turned out really good. Went ahead and ground off all that school bus yellow paint and threw a coat of etch over the whole thing. Came out really nice in the end. So if you hung in to this point, thanks a whole lot. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one.